Hey guys, Carson of UforicRecords here, back with another video on making a beat. In this case, we are not making it as we go. The only reason why is because this plugin that I worked with, which we'll be talking a lot, Orchestra Essentials, was difficult for me to grasp on like general patterns I was going to do, especially since in a lot of cases you would really use this plugin for movies and like movie scenes and whatnot. So that's really the massive appeal with this. But I really enjoyed just playing with it and like playing on my piano over and over, just figuring out what I could do. And I finally came up with this chord progression that sounds something like this. So I really like the way that sounded. But for the intro, I just did this. So we'll just listen to the two harps. That's where I started. You know, basic, it's like that. And then really calming. And on this last, the fourth bar, if you will, you'll notice that slight difference right there. Just for extra variation in the loop. You feel me? So we did that, and then I was like, we need some flavor, right? So how could we make this like a super emotional intro is kind of what I was thinking, because like I was already emotional with that harp, with how beautiful it sounded. So I did this French horn that is also in the Orchestra Essentials. Beautiful, beautiful. Listen. Oh. I also played this. I just love it. Right, so beautiful. And then what I wanted to do was add kind of more presence, if you will, to the main. So you hear those. So what you're hearing there is SSL native, tape delay. I was using Baby Audio's Baby Come Back, but when I panned right for some reason, it didn't allow, like it almost made it sound completely different. And I really liked the way it sounded, but it was also really hard to tone in anyway, and SSL native was really natural, really easy to work with, so I ended up going with that. And I think it turned out great. Just a little more rhythm to the overall, and like listen to it all in context, like just so beautiful. Right? Like we're floating. You know what I mean? So then I was like, we need to go further. So I grabbed, also in the Orchestra Essentials, I really wanted to stick with it, if you couldn't tell. I just wanted to almost strictly stick with this, almost for everything, but I really always like 808s, and I know I'm going to hop on this beat later for my own independent artist song, so I don't know when I'm going to sing on this, whether it's going to be a single or part of my album coming up, but I really do like it. And so I did the brass section, and I did sustain. There's a couple other ones, and you'll notice this is the other one. So muted staccato, that basically sounds, let's go over the other one first, but I also added a filter at 1.4K, so that's why you'll hear it kind of muted, muffled. So like let's actually mute everything else. Oh. So I played those myself. That is basically, please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I heard it's a ninth. Like, it's supposed to be called a ninth or something. My buddy taught me the trick. So it's like, wait. So it's basically where you play, you know, this is a C chord. So it would be like that, but if you were playing like the other one that is another note over. So it's like playing 4-finger chord. But I don't know for sure, like I am not a music theory nerd by any means. I just know audio, I mix and master. I don't even often make beats. This is kind of new to me, but I really have a fun time doing it, and I love explaining it to you guys. I hope you think the same. Leave a like or a comment if you do like this video so far. Let's keep going and talking about it. So, like I said, it's the muted staccato. It really adds that extra flavor. I really like it. Right. Like, come on. You know, because the other one's drowned out. I wanted that really, like, euphoric vibe. That's my artist name, by the way. Funny. But, like, I just wanted that vibe. Like, it just made me, you know, not actually tear up, but hypothetically, right? You know, it's, like, really beautiful. So, and then I added this. So this is the choir in there, also in Orchestra Essentials. Surprise, surprise. So I added some limiting, some brilliance for like brightness. And then this is the key here. So I think that stands for release dynamics, but I could be wrong. And when you turn that up, what happens is this. You notice how it just, by the way, all that other processing is actually the timeless. It's the delays I put on it, so it actually have more flow. Kind of same situation as the panned right and left on the harp. And then I added some chorus, but not too much, because then it would just muddy up the whole mix, in my opinion, from what I heard before. So when you release that chord, is basically, let me exaggerate it for you to really show you. So it's at 45 right now. You see that? So I release the chord, and it really gives you a lot of feedback after. I think a lot of people will think that's self-explanatory, but I'm just explaining it for those who may not understand. I was really excited about it. So beautiful. And then I added, of course, a deep 808, because I'm that guy. Okay, so I have this preset that I made, but it's also in this kit. It's FM kick, and when you turn up FM... like, sorry for the jump scare if it did, but I always use that for tonality. So if I'm shaping like what I want to hear, you know, like how am I gonna make this bass line, and I always just start playing with FM on, and it sounds like terrible. But then I turn it all the way down after I get finished hearing the notes that, you know, collab with each other in a sense, and that may sound off, but with everything in context. Let's hear it. I mean, we're floating, dude. I love that. And that's what I also really like about this kick, or it's called FM kick, because you notice how these are overlapping, so it's not going to... But do you see how these aren't connected? So you're going to hear an extra, like, kick sound effect. So you almost don't even need a kick to be layered with an 808. You don't have to do all the side chaining if you want that type of a sound. But in some cases, you know, you just want the oscillator to roll off. So, but look, you'll hear the kick again, right? And those are kind of connected, so it kind of rolled it off, but still gave it the kick. But the goal there was to create a kick line while also preserving that beautiful low end. And then it breaks off into, guess what? Yet another orchestra plugin. So Piano Mystique, I love this piano preset. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I absolutely love it. And, you know, I raised the limiter on it a lot, and I really didn't have to do much in advance. I don't even think I did anything in advance. I turned up that reverb, cranked it. But you know, this harp is so kind and pleasant. So if I were to just, for example, just use this, let's do it, no effects. It's already pretty calming for the most part, but I wanted it to kind of be tucked, in a sense, with the rest of the mix. So I did like 6.3, now 7.3 on the Flamingo Factory Stock Logic plugin on Stomp Boxes. And it's to the point where phasing isn't necessarily audible, because that's for a reason. That's why you see this other one over here. That is also the piano. And then I just added basically additional mix on that right here, about 21% for the next part. But you notice how that harp goes really well. You know, just harp and piano. Really emotional. And then back to a break, no bass. Pardon that interruption, guys. I had a phone call coming from someone. But let's get back to what we were talking about. This part. And then it breaks. No piano, no bass. And then I'm going to explain this part before, just because it's very exciting stuff. So I made this preset on stock Logic EQ, and I call it Another Dimension. The reason why I said no lows is because usually if you have a 2-track instrumental, or you already created your beat and it's bounced in a one single audio file, this tends to work. Even if it does overclip bass, you'll just go like this or something, maybe even like that if it is too much. Usually my mixes on the beats are going to be, relatively optimal, so it should work in that. But in this case, it did have too many lows in the midst of even the harp chords, so I did no lows on those and the other ones, the echoey ones. And so I made separate tracks for those, for the EQs to come in. Anyone could, automate the EQ to do such a thing, but why not just create more tracks if you have the, capacity to do so? So I did that, and then I also, like I said, has more mix, and so you'll really notice it comes in, and there's a lot of phasing there, but it works in context. And then I bring in, so these are some samples I have, but I just did a step sequencer on an 8th. And I did a repetition on one point. What was it? Step rate? No, not step rate. My fault, guys. Repeat. Yeah, so I did a second repeat on some of the hi-hats. And then I did a crunchy hi-hat. And then your basic hi-hat. And then so I'm going to show you. And I also did a kick that I call layer 808 kick, because it goes really nicely with an 808 for extra punch. So let's show y'all that section, and that is the ending of the beat. And then take out the piano, slow down the hi-hat. Yeah. And so that is the end of the beat. Let me know what you guys think. I really hope you did enjoy this video. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. This is Carson at Euphoric Records. I am out. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe if you liked. Comment if I did anything wrong in your opinion, or you just want to discourse about something, like, oh my gosh, why didn't you add this, dude? You have the Orchestra Essentials. You didn't add this. I'd love to hear any, feedback or anything like that. Let me know if you did like the beat and how it turned out. And you guys have an amazing rest of your day.